So today I'd like to talk about the installation that we're going to do. We're going to be installing a RXP 199 SENSEI unit into this beautiful home here in Georgia. Now, a couple benefits about our RXP product is it comes pump ready. Pump is built into the unit itself, so you don't have to have an external pump or anything. And if you buy one of the units that doesn't have a pump in it, we have a pump kit. You can just go throw it inside. It becomes an RXP product. Pretty awesome. Now, with this RXP SENSEI that we've done, couple innovations that we've come across on this unit. We were able to reduce our inventory from 24 SKUs down to 6 SKUs. So by doing that, what we have done is we've made this unit an indoor-outdoor unit. This unit can go indoors, or it can be installed in the outdoors with one of our VersaVent kits. Now, on top of that, Rinnai didn't stop. They wanted to continue doing the innovations. So we've also adjusted this unit to where it can go liquid propane, natural gas, all in one unit as well. So no more orifice changes, no more manual calculations that you guys have to do. We can set parameters inside our unit by using the Bluetooth app and setting those parameters to adjust for you guys depending on what application you're doing. Now that brings me to another important part. When you're going to register this product, so you can scan the QR code now, which allows you to fully register the product. It allows you to set the parameters without ever having to take the front panel off of our RX product. The cool thing about that too is by doing the registration for the homeowner when you're out there in the field doing the installation, you're actually extending that labor warranty by 4 years as well. So we are going to give you a 15, 5, and 5 on our warranty systems if you register the products. So with everything that I've just said, let's go in the garage and get started. Give you a little background on myself. I was a plumber for the last 10 years, mainly installing a lot of tankless water heaters. So I wanted to talk to you today. So our job today is going to be taking out this 40-gallon water heater. It's a 12-year-old system. As you can see, we got some corrosion and everything that we're going through on this unit. And we're going to be installing one of our RXP 199 INs in replacement of this. So a couple things that I would always look for when coming out to a job on a traditional tanked water heater like this, whether or not it needs to be replaced to a more high efficiency unit. Couple things would be, one, you want to check the age of the water heater. Traditionally, these water heaters are warranted for about 6 years, and so anything over that 6-year life, you really want to educate the homeowner on why the removal and replacement is so key and what efficiency ratings they're going to get from going from a tanked to a tankless water heater. So one is always going to be that age of the water heater. If you're over that 6-year warranty mark, I would definitely suggest a replacement on that water heater. Couple other things up here on the expansion tank that we see up top there. You can definitely see how we have some corrosion building up on that. It shows that there is, some water quality issues going on in that water heater that is now starting to affect other aspects of it, and that could be starting to affect other aspects of the home. So we start to see that corrosion on that expansion tank. We want to make sure we're educating the homeowner on that, letting them know what's causing that. Why are they getting those issues? And traditionally it's because the sediment that's building up inside this tank is causing that water quality to kind of get downgraded a little bit because it is constantly heating that water and it's under pressure all the time. So it's going to be affecting all their pipes, everything throughout the home. A couple of the other items that we want to make sure that we're looking at. I know it's a little bit hard to see this one. You want to make sure that on the gas shutoff valve here too, that it is, kind of up to code and that we do have this quarter turn shutoff valve on that tanked unit. If not, we definitely need to be looking and seeing what we're going to have to do to upgrade that gas line to be able to get that to a more efficient method. If it is the tool method, right, we want to make sure we're getting them a quarter turn gas valve on that. The other item though is this particular tank. A lot of the tanks that we run into are ran off of a 1/2-inch line. We really do recommend and suggest that our tanklesses are upgraded to a 3/4 line. So we'll be in the process of going through what we want to do to upgrade that gas as well, and make sure that we get that 3/4 line in here. The water lines is you got your hot and your cold coming in here. So during the application process of this, one thing I'd be looking for is how do we need to retrofit these lines over to be able to accommodate a tankless going in this. So we're going to be doing some modifications to these water lines as well, and most likely cutting them in here and then routing them over to where we're going to be doing our installation. rather than having the lines up here and up top. So one of the things that we mentioned before is when we're upgrading that gas, we want to make sure that we're going from the 1/2 inch up to a 3/4 to properly size the gas and be able to get enough gas supply over to this tankless unit. So what we're doing here is we're actually changing out one of the fittings from a 90-degree fitting over to a T, and that way we can just kind of come off, go back towards the home, run it down the wall over here. And then we're going to take this line and we're going to go and put it right through the house, right where our tankless is going to be, so we can make the connection right up into the tankless. So pretty easy to be able to upgrade the gas lines on these as well when we're going from a tanked water heater up to a tankless. So one thing I wanted to go over real quick on the gas line is one of the reasons that we are upgrading the gas line from a 1/2 inch to a 3/4. Now, I've gone out and I've installed multiple competitors, you know, being a plumber in the past, and you know, our competitors will also say that theirs can run off of a 1/2 inch gas line. Now, I've always just found best practice, upgrade it to that 3/4, because anytime I've done an installation using a 1/2 inch gas line, I've usually had to go back out for gas related issues, gas related, you know, error codes. So I learned pretty early on that even though it says you can run off of a 1/2 inch, let's upgrade it to that 3/4, because since I started doing that, I've never once had to go back out to one of my installations for a gas related issue. So one of the things I wanted to go over today too is the venting. So as you can see on this traditional tank, it is going to come up and through the roof and go outside from there. Now, we don't have to use that same venting. Matter of fact, we can't use that same venting. This venting is an aluminum B-vent system, and we can't put that on a tankless. And so we do have to go and upgrade that to either a PVC or a concentric piping like what I have here. Now, this actually makes it really smooth and easy, because what we're able to do is we're able to take that tankless, mount it up on the wall, one penetration point right outside the home. You get the nice look for the customer. You got your exhaust here, your intake here, and then it enables our tankless to pull in that air and be able to get all the fresh air intake that we need directly from the outside, while exhausting all the harmful gases and everything that we don't want in here to the outside of the home in one pipe. So this makes it real nice, one hole right outside the house, nice clean fixture. Now, there are cases though where we do have to run up and through the ceiling, or we got to go over to another wall. So Rinnai has actually developed a pretty cool guide that we can use out in the field. It's got a laser system on there, so you know exactly where you're pointing, knows exactly where you're going to go. This is already set for the pitch and the height that we need to be able to get our run on the tankless. We can take that and we can shoot it across the room, and we can see exactly where we're going to penetrate through, go drill our hole, and that tells us where we need to put our pipe out the side of the house. So we're getting ready to unbox this RXP 199. So I'd like to show you kind of how I've found is really efficient to do it out in the field. Box can serve as a dual purpose going forward. So really easy, just pop these packaging straps off. And the cool part about this is after you get these off, you just lift this box out. Make sure that you reach down in here, grab that mounting bracket that we're going to need for a little bit later, as well as bypass valve kit that we're going to use, and vent screens if those will come in handy later on. Other than that, you can just use this as your garbage going forward. Great thing though is you can take this 58-pound unit, put it right on top of your box. Now you can use this as a workstation as well. Side port for your garbage. That way, as you're doing your installation on your isolation valve, you throw all your garbage right inside this unit while you're doing your installation on those. So this is our offset bracket. I wish honestly I had one of these in the box with me every single time I had to go do a tankless installation. Allows you that 1.5 inch clearance on the back, which allows you to run your water lines directly behind this piece of equipment here. And that way when we're mounting our tankless, you get that nice, clean, quality look on the tankless installation by having your water lines run behind it rather than over to the side. Truly is a pro time saver. And again, I really wish I had this when I was doing installations. It's so hard to do it when you're laying on the ground, because now you're like, all of this is so much lower than what it normally is. And then when you have it hung up, everything's like so condensed in there that it's just really hard to make all the connections that you need to make. So I wanted to go over our Rinnai Central app, and what this app allows you to do. It actually allows you to Bluetooth into these units. You can use it for product registration. You can use it for your initial setup of the tankless when you're doing your parameter settings. And the way you do that, you want to make sure your unit's in Bluetooth mode. Come in here to your app, press your connect to a Bluetooth device. I'm going to connect over to this unit, continue. And as this is going through, it's going to ask you if you want to pair or not. So yes, I want to pair. The great part about this app is it now goes through and starts connecting it to the unit. So now that this unit has connected, it allows me to go in and do what we call a quick setup. I can go in and choose whether it's natural gas or propane. I can go in and say whether it's indoor or outdoor. I can go in and set my elevation for this unit, as well as whether or not I have a crossover, which we installed a crossover underneath the kitchen sink. So we're going to go into crossover mode. We have a dedicated mode as well for that dedicated loop, or we can just have it off if you're not using the pump. We want economy or comfort. We're going to run this into the comfort mode. And we go through our circulation pump speed. We have max, high, medium, low. We want Smart Circ enabled. Smart Circ allows this feature to now learn the customer's usage throughout their home. So as they start using water, it's going to start making logs inside our system here, which will keep that pump going during their times of usage. We want the wireless push button because we are going to be linking up some push buttons into this as well, so they can do on demand as they want. And it allows you to set the max domestic hot water temperature, 120 or 140. Right now we have this at 140 just in case they want to change that up at all. It also has a toggle so you can move this down to set the temperature. Alerts to know when to service it, and then you can send this over to your Rinnai appliance and it'll put all that in there for you. The great part about this feature as well is you can go into your advanced setup mode as well, and all those screens that we just went over, it's all here in a drop down screen, so you can go through and do it that way as well. What I really do like about this Rinnai Central app is, as a contractor out in the field, you can save your parameter settings. So if you're one that is doing it in your specific area and you're doing multiples, you can save them and have that go over to each unit that you install. You don't have to keep going into each one of these. I can take an old profile, link it up to this one, and it'll put those parameters into my new one. So it saves me time there as well from having to set up every single tankless that you install out in the field. You can get product information, you can get diagnostic history codes. So if this unit has been throwing any error codes, you can actually get into it and see what codes it's been throwing, so you don't have to guess at what the unit's doing anymore, and you can provide valuable feedback to tech support when on the phone with them in the future. So I wanted to talk to you about the push buttons that we have as well. I like to refer to these as more of a on-demand, call for hot water. Now, I like to keep mine by my kitchen sink. I also have one next to my nightstand. That way, when I wake up in the morning, I want to make sure that I have hot water at my shower first thing, right? I don't want to go there, turn it on, have to wait for the water to heat up a little bit. So I just push a button as soon as I wake up. I go and throw my contacts in, go get in the shower, and I already got the hot water. So what this button does is it sends a Bluetooth signal over to your appliance here. It tells the unit to kick on, start running that pump for that recirculation loop that we have where the crossover valve is at. Or if you have a dedicated line, it's going to start running that pump for your dedicated line. It gets the water heated up when you want to use it. Now the great part about these is this does not put a log in your system, and so it kind of overrides a little bit the Smart Circ technology that we have, and it doesn't log that in there. So these really more are an on-demand. If you're breaking habits and you're doing dishes in the middle of the day versus doing them at night like you usually do, this will get you what you need immediately without having to log it and change your entire habits going forward. Pretty cool little button. Bluetooth, you can link 5 of them up in your home, so plenty of space to put throughout your home. You got pretty good coverage there.